Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome back to Eye of the Beholder, where we review Dungeons & Dragons miniatures produced by Wizards of the Coast and Wizkids from 2003 through 2023. Today we continue to review our Construct minis. We'll be looking at H through R today. The homunculus first appeared in the OG Monster Manual. It is generally created by spellcasters or artificers to serve as spies or servants, as they are telepathically connected to their masters. Generally, they are roughly humanoid and about the size of a squirrel, but they can be constructed larger and in different shapes. We get our first homunculus in 2016's Storm King's Thunder set. Due to its tiny size, there's not a lot to see here. There's not a lot of detailing to the sculpt, and the uniform brown does it no favors either, although if you look really closely, it does appear to have yellow eyes. Using a tall, clear stand to depict flying does help playability, so score is Paint 8, Pose 10, Playability 14, Pizzazz 6, for a score of 38. Two years later, we get a single-eyed, ground-bound homunculus in 2018's Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Despite its tiny size, the central eye is pretty well detailed against the brown of the rest of the mini. Pose looks to me like he is cowering before his master, arms drawn in while gazing up in supplication. You know, I kind of like it. Score: Paint 11, Pose 14, Playability 15, Pizzazz 12, for a score of 52. Yes, this is a homunculus. Called a manifestation of Loris, this mini from 2022's Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft is constructed of sticks and body parts by the hag known as Mother Lorinda. Medium brown with black claws and nose tip is it for the color. Pose is indeterminate, could be standing guard, could be advancing to attack, could be asking for a handout. I can see using this mini outside of the Ravenloft setting, so the score is Paint 14, Pose 12, Playability 13, Pizzazz 14, for a score of 53. Artificers generally construct their homunculi somewhat differently. Known as Iron Defenders, we get our first example in 2008's Dungeons of Dread set. Dull gray in color with okay detailing for a WotC common, these constructs are designed to, well, defend their masters. With a wolf-like body and no doubt metal teeth and claws, this mini is up to the task. Score: Paint 10, Pose 13, Playability 12, Pizzazz 9, for a score of 44. Check out these two miniatures from 2020's Eberron Rising from the Last War set. Bigger, brighter, and more threatening than the WotC version, with maws wide open to display the teeth. Nice detail on the yellow eyes as well. Detailing is a standout here. Note the round joints at the knees and the pronounced spikes on the back and hind legs. For the winged version, the feathers look more like blades and can no doubt be used to slash and cut at an opponent. If you have a choice, use these Iron Defenders. Score: Paint 13, Pose 15, Playability 15, Pizzazz 14, for a score of 57. And you know what? Let's add 10 points to Pizzazz for the winged version, giving that one a score of 67. First appearing in 2001's Manual of the Planes, Inevitables are lawful neutral, intelligent constructs whose single purpose is to enforce the fundamental laws of nature and morality and punish those who violate them. Upon creation, it will be given its mission and absolutely will not stop until its target is found and punished. If its target is part of the party, it will ignore all others to attack its designated target. Yeah, it's a Terminator. We get our first inevitable in 2006's Blood War set, called a Kolurut. This type tends to punish those who break oaths. There is some amazing paint detail work done on this mini. I particularly like all the fringe work on the cape and the bottom of the red robe. The metallic nature of the Kolurut is revealed in its exposed arm, chest, and head. Pose has him, in my opinion, standing in judgment, and based on the sword's position, justice is coming. Score: Paint 22, Pose 20, Playability 17, Pizzazz 24, for a score of 83. Maruts are inevitables whose purpose is to enforce the inevitability of death. Guess how they do that? From 2005's Underdark set, this mini's subtle color palette of black and bronze perfectly matches its stated mission. Moving ponderously forward with fist raised to return nature's balance onto some being who has unfairly cheated death. It's clobbering time. Score: Paint 20, Pose 21, Playability 17, Pizzazz 22, for a score of 80. This Marut from 2019's Volos and Mordenkainen's Foes set is the type used to enforce contracts. When parties are in agreement, the terms are carved into the golden disc on its chests, and woe be to the party who breaks the contract. What an absolutely amazing mini. The standout is, of course, the eye. With the transparent plastic cornea protecting the iris and pupil, this is the most realistic eye WotC or WizKids has ever done. Pose has it in full attack mode. Note the wings on the shoulders and the back of the legs. Yeah, it can fly. Score: Paint 25, Pose 25, Playability 18, Pizzazz 25, for a score of 93. The Iron Cobra made its first appearance in the first edition Fiend Folio in 1981. These constructs have an enhanced ability to track. Simply naming the target is enough for an Iron Cobra to track it down. And yes, they do have a poisonous bite via a reservoir that can be refilled by its creator. Another fun DM trick is to bury one of these guys under a bunch of coins in a chest. Since it's technically not a trap, it can't be detected as such. Imagine the shock when a PC rogue starts rummaging through the coins. WotC gives us their version of the Iron Cobra in 2004's Aberrations set. A uniform silver with a dark wash for shading, the pose on this mini is interesting. First off, it's coiled upon a rock formation at the base, giving it a bit of height. Pose is classic Cobra, raised up, fangs displayed and about to strike. Detail alert: note the skull engravings on the hood on either side of the head. Score: Paint 13, Pose 18, Playability 17, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 65. We get WizKids' take on the Iron Cobra in 2019's Volos and Mordenkainen's Foes set. Physically smaller and less imposing than the WotC version, but with an interesting detail of having it posed wrapped around a chest. And while it's hard to make out due to the size, this mini also has the skull engravings on the hood. Black body with gold highlights and white teeth make up the colors. The chest is nicely contrasted in gray and gold. Score: Paint 14, Pose 10, Playability 14, Pizzazz 11, for a score of 49. Magians are green-skinned constructs with mercury for blood. Originally appearing in 1994's Mystera Monstrous Compendium, they are loyal servants and bodyguards, protecting their creators and servicing their needs without question or delay. There are 3 types of Magians, and we get a miniature version of each in 2021's Snowbound set. The first is the Demos Magian. These are usually used as guards and protectors and outfitted with armor and weapons. This mini reflects this, with both a longsword in hand and a crossbow and quiver strapped to his back. Pose has this mini definitely in guard mode, sword out but not raised, gaze focused. Nicely detailed paint job, the green skin on the arms and face are clear, and the black-brown armor with silver filigree on the shoulders and knees is a nice touch. Score: Paint 17, Pose 14, Playability 12, Pizzazz 15, for a score of 58. Next up is the Galen Meijin. Imbued with electrical energy, they can shock with a touch or unleash a bolt of lightning on command. And apparently, based on this mini, levitate. Garbed in purple robes, there's some nicely subtle detailing there, but of course the most striking feature are the two translucent globes manifesting in each hand. This guy is obviously about to deliver a double-aught blast of lightning. Score: Paint 16, Pose 20, Playability 12, Pizzazz 23, for a score of 71. Our final Meijin is the Hypnos Meijin. As the name implies, these Meijin have telepathic and psychic powers, allowing them to attack the minds of their foes. Another purple robe mini, but with less detailing than the previous one. Pose has him standing serenely with hands clasped in front, not particularly exciting. Or perhaps he's in the middle of a psychic attack and attempting to take over the mind of his enemy. Score: Paint 11, Pose 13, Playability 12, Pizzazz 13, for a score of 49. Modrones are a mechanical race originally from the plane of Nirvana. First appearing in 1983's first edition Monster Manual 2, these constructs are creatures of absolute law and order, which they pursue with a vehemence unheard of with other races. It was their meddling in the outer planes, trying to bring order to chaos, that created the race of the Slod, who are now their mortal enemies. See my Aberrations videos for my review on Slod minis. Part of a rigid caste system, lower-level Modrones will defer to their betters, always looking to them for orders and guidance. The lowest level is the Monodrone, capable of only simple tasks, for example, attack. These guys are the cannon fodder of the Modrone armies. We get our only Monodrone in 2017's Tomb of Annihilation set. Dull golden body, but with a striking blue eye and white wings, yeah, they fly, for its colors. Pose is, well, patience personified as it awaits orders. Score: Paint 12, Pose 12, Playability 14, Pizzazz 12, for a score of 50. Perfectly neutral. Next on the hierarchy is the Duodrones. They can attack with either bare hands or with a weapon, and are often used as corporals and sergeants over squads of Monodrones. This Duodrone is also from the Tomb of Annihilation set. Pose has it striding forward with arms above his head. Looks to me like he's going in for a grapple attack. Same basic paint job as the Monodrone, but with a more detailed body and two eyes rather than one. Score: Paint 13, Pose 14, Playability 14, Pizzazz 13, for a score of 54. Next up are the Tridrones. They basically act as the go-betweens between the lower and higher castes. These three-sided, six-legged creatures are competent combatants, preferring javelins in battle. This mini, from 2020's Fangs and Talons set, is quite striking. Perfectly creature correct, balanced perfectly on its 6 legs with a javelin in each arm. I really like this one. The only downside is that it's a rare, which can make it hard to get. Score: Paint 18, Pose 24, Playability 12, Pizzazz 25, for a score of 79. Meet the Quadrone, The second highest ranked base Modrone. Resembling a duodrone with wings, this Modrone is exceptional with a bow, able to get off 4 shots a round. This Quadrone Mini comes from 2018's Monster Menagerie 3 set. Pose has him with his bows raised in one hand, while the other raised above his head as if he just released an arrow. Amusing little touch, it has one eye closed, as if aiming. Gold body and white wings complete the look. Score: Paint 16, Pose 19, Playability 15, Pizzazz 20, for a score of 70. The Arbalest is a specialized quadrone. Shaped as its namesake, it is capable of shooting metal bolts directly out of its body. They are used mostly as guards for Modrone cities and fortresses. This Arbalest is from 2009's Monster Manual Dangerous Delve set. Its brown two-tone body is pretty basic, as is the pose. As there is nothing particularly Modrone about this mini, they can also be used as ballistas during a siege. Score: Paint 10, Pose 12, Playability 15, Pizzazz 9, for a score of 46. Our last base Modrone is the Pentadrone. They favor unarmed attacks. They can attack with each of their 5 starfish-like appendages per round, plus they have a paralyzing gas breath weapon. We get this Pentadrone Mini from 2018's Waterdeep Dragon Heist set. Thanks to the clear stand between its 5 spindly legs, this mini sits solidly on the base. Solid silver with 5 flesh-colored faces on each arm is it for color, while the pose is about what you'd expect. Cool, isn't it? Score: Paint 15, Pose 15, Playability 18, Pizzazz 23, for a score of 71. For this next group of miniatures, we're just going to go with a catch-all category of objects. The first is this Death Grasp sarcophagus from 2008's Demon Web set. These minis can be used as dungeon flavor or as traps, as is their intended purpose. It is a strikingly detailed miniatures with intricate carvings on all 4 sides, highlighted with a face that could be either a minotaur or outsider. It is interspersed with golden accents against the mostly silver of the sarcophagus. This is a useful mini. Score: Paint 18, Pose 12, Playability 21, Pizzazz 23, for a score of 74. From 2010's Lords of Madness set, we get this trapped chest. What makes it trapped? Don't know. It would have been cool if WotC had actually made the top openable, but it's not. Paint and pose, it's a chest. Obviously, it can be used as just a chest, trap optional. Score: Paint 10, Pose 10, Playability 10, Pizzazz 10, for a score of 40. Our final object is actually a pair, the iron and gold Igwil's Cauldrons from 2021's The Wild Beyond the Witchlight set. Similar but not exactly alike, the details on the iron cauldron are more ominous, black cat sculpts all around with eyes between each. The gold cauldron has trees carved around its circumference along with, well, I don't know exactly what those protrusions are supposed to be. They look like noses, but that can't be right. Another nice detail on both. Ta-da! The lids are removable. Score: Paint 14, Pose 20, Playability 15, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 66. Retrievers are living constructs that operate as warriors and servants for demon lords, resembling gigantic metallic spiders, but with 2 scythe-like arms up front that can easily rip apart their foes in combat. However, the real danger is in their eyes, which can emit magical rays of many types, demonic dealer's choice. As the name implies, they are excellent at retrieval, able to track down anything their masters have ever seen or touched. We get our one and only Retriever Mini in 2022's Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse set. And if there is a more perfect representation of a creature from page to miniature, I haven't seen it. Setting it on a clear stand allows it to display the agility these constructs are known for, moving about nimbly on its 6 legs, while its cleavers are raised high in preparation of rending and tearing. Can we finish this video with a perfect score? Well, the paint isn't anything special, but it's not supposed to be, so yeah, 100. And that finishes off part 2 of our look at construct miniatures. We will be finishing out the category in our next video, starting out with the Scalander. If anyone has any suggestions on which group to tackle next, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching Eye of the Beholder. Until next time, I bid you adieu.